Hello and welcome if you're new to my channel. If you're a subscriber, a warm welcome back. This video is a lifestyle video. I typically do educational content targeted at people who are new to money, but from time to time I'll do something that's in the whole lifestyle space. And a few weeks ago I sent a request to my friends on Facebook asking for topics within diet and fitness, and one of the topics I got a request for was targeting cellulite through exercise. Cellulite, I found from experience, and particularly as you get older, it's something you struggle more and more with, and it's something that 80-90% of women get. And it's a three-pronged approach. It's firstly diet, it's exercise, and then a bit of personal treatments, personal care. But the most effective I have found from experience has been the diet. Once you clean up your diet, the quality and quantity of your food, and then followed by exercise, and more so the cardio, and then the toning, you're on to a winner. The personal treatments just become the icing on the cake. But in this one, I'm focusing strictly on the exercise element. Most women, problem areas are typically your lower abs, the front of your thighs, the side of your thighs, and the back of your thighs. What I will be doing is offering exercises that are going to work from the lower part. You do get cellulite as well on your upper arms, but that's something that I could do in a separate video. If somebody said, I really struggle with cellulite in my arms or my lower abs, how can I take care of that? But the secret to cellulite, as I've said to you, is just cranking up your cardio and more so high intensity interval training. That's going to become your best friend. It's incredibly tough. If done well, it's very effective and it's quick. So it's something that I do, and I don't do for prolonged periods of time because you can get injured, you get tired, you get demotivated, and you've got to be realistic about things. I tend to do a short, sharp spurt. So let's say maybe for 2 weeks where I work really hard and blitz my body, and then I just take it easy for another 3-4 weeks, do something else, and then come back to it. Just mix things up so your body doesn't get used to a set routine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer 3 groupings of exercises, and in those groupings choose 2, possibly 3 or 4 if you have the energy, exercises from each group, and then intersperse those with cardio. So the groupings will be for your quads, the front of your thighs, for your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, and then for your glutes, your butt region. The cardio I would recommend is high intensity interval training. You can do that now during lockdown using either a skipping rope. You could walk. I tend to go for very brisk walks for 45 minutes, and then I do the exercise at the end. You could also just run on the spot. You could do a whole bunch of other exercises that I'll just talk you through whilst I'm showing you the 3 groupings. But if you can get the cardio and the reps, so if you do reps of, I would say 12 to 15 of each exercise and do 3 sets maybe, together with cardio, some high intensity interval training, then you're on to a winner. It's something I'm doing now during lockdown, and I'm seeing results. And I'm also watching my diet and just making sure that all of that is coming together. And so my 3 groupings, I'm going to kick off with the quads. One of the most effective exercises for your quads is lunges. The whole range, from your static going forwards and backwards, side to side, your walking lunges, the whole plethora will more than cover your quads and your inner thighs. What I'll do is recommend a number of options, but before I kick off, a couple of things. All the recommendations I'll be making are appropriate for people over 40. And secondly, I'll be showing you the best form for each exercise. It's important that you do the exercise to the best of your ability, the best way it should be done, and therefore reap the benefits. And also to try and minimize the chances of you injuring yourself. As you get older, the chances of recovering or bouncing back as quickly from an injury are reduced, and sometimes you don't even recover at all. So I want to try and circumvent that as far as possible. So back to lunges. The most simple, the easiest way to start is just walking lunges. So it's one leg in front of the other. And what you're doing with the best form is both legs are coming down at a 90-degree angle. Side profile, so the 90-degree angle, and your core is engaged. With all the exercises, whenever you're exercising, always have your core engaged. That way you're working the core in tandem with your other exercises, but also it helps you stabilize your body and maintain that balance that's needed with some of the exercises to really work through it. So you have the walking lunge, you have the static lunge, so you stand with your body and feet facing forwards, and it's just one leg in front of the other. Come back up again, and you repeat the same exercise on the same leg. Do the stretch possibly 3-5 times before changing legs. That way you really feel it in your quads and also feel it in your glutes. The other one is the backward lunge. With the backward lunge, you're working the quads and you're also working your hamstrings. Is very good for that. So it's the leg to the back, and you come down at the 90-degree angle. Your core is engaged. And then if you have particularly bad knees, or you have issues with your knees, should I say, you just bend the front leg and keep the back leg straight. So you're taking the cue from the back leg and just doing most of the work in the front leg. Just take it easy so you don't snap anything in the leg that's doing the work. Then the other lunge is just going side to side. This is absolutely fantastic for getting an all-round workout, because you're working the quads with the other lunges, and then this works the inner thighs. It's particularly effective for that. So your legs are wide open, body's facing forwards, and what you're doing is just coming down to one side. Don't bounce, just come into the exercise. Stop at that point where it's just biting, it's just starting to get uncomfortable. All the weight is in your heels. You should be able to wiggle your toes. There's no weight in there. If you have weight, you're doing something wrong. All the weight is in your heels, and you just hold the stretch. Feel it in your quad, and you really feel that workout in your inner thigh. And then you switch to the other side. Please don't bounce, particularly if you're new to exercise, you're not very flexible, or you're sure of your body and what you're doing, because you're more likely to injure yourself that way. Just come in, hold the stretch for a few seconds, and then switch to the other side. If you'd like a really deeper inner thigh workout, then touch the ground. Just touch that ground. You really will feel that exercise deepen. The other option, if you want to work your quads and also the outer part of your thighs, same exercise, legs are wide apart, and then you just diagonally lunge. Come back to the front, face the front, and then you diagonally come back down again. The other thing you can do is squats for your quads. The narrower your legs, the more you're going to work out your glutes. If you want to work out your quads with squats, then you need to widen your legs. So the wider they are, the more you're going to work the inside, particularly if your feet are turned out at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and you're moving back as if you're about to sit. All the weight is in your heels. There should be nothing in your toes, and your knees are back. They do not go beyond your toes. So it's as if you're sitting down, all the weight is in your heels, and you just come up. And you're doing a range of that, just going up and down. To make it a little more challenging, add weights. So your dumbbells, you have a barbell. You can also have a kettlebell and actually swing the kettlebell in between your legs. That will be very effective for your quads and also your hamstrings. Another exercise I'd just like to throw in for your quads is called the Bulgarian split squat. What you need is a raised surface. You put the back leg on the raised surface. The front leg is the one that's doing the working out. And all you're doing is just coming down, and you make sure your core is engaged. This exercise is particularly fantastic for your quads and also your hamstrings. So what you do is you choose 2 exercises from this section, 2 from the next section, and 2 from the last section, interspersed with cardio, and that's your workout. So it's not just targeting the cellulite, but you'll find it just has a very good workout all around. So what you can do for cardio, as I suggested, you can either cycle, if you have a bike, a treadmill, a rowing machine, you can skip, or you can do other exercises, but just add the cardio element. So for example, you can do the jumping squat. And so you do that in between the sets. Make sure you maintain your form. So as you jump, you're coming down and the weight is going straight into your heels, and you move back and you just keep jumping, and your heart rate is elevated. Another exercise that will be very good is called the jumping frog. Similar to a squat, except you're touching the ground. So you jump and touch the ground. Very good for a very deep glute and hamstring workout, particularly effective. The other thing you can do is jumping lunges. So you're just alternating and jumping. That's very good. And then a fourth one I'd recommend, and one that many people know. Some hate it, some really love it. I love it because you get a very good workout all around, and it's the burpee. And so with the burpee, it's important to maintain very good form. That way you get the most from the exercise. So one thing I'd like to highlight, a couple of things I'd like to highlight. So with the burpee, when you come down and you go out, you need to make sure your core is engaged. And when you come out, make sure as you bring your legs up, you don't dip your back. You could hurt yourself. This is where your core being engaged helps. And you just bring your legs in, and then you jump up. So you need to make sure you have very good form with your burpee. If you do that well, you get a very, very good workout. So that's your cardio combined with the exercises. And now moving on to your hamstrings. With the hamstrings, I have a couple of exercises. standing, and the rest are on the floor. So the standing one, the first one, you can either have a chair or something to hold on to, or if your core is engaged and you have balance, all you're doing is just bending the leg and you bring it down. To make it more challenging, I would recommend putting weights on your ankles and you just lift the leg. What you're aiming for is your leg being as far back as possible. So just add the weights and just keep working your legs, both of them taking it in turns. The other exercise for your hamstring, and this is very, very effective. It's actually my personal favorite, not just for hamstrings, but just exercises as a whole, because of the stretch it gives my hamstrings. As I'm getting older, I'm finding, not just myself, but a lot of people, your flexibility is going down, and you need to work that bit harder just to maintain it. So the easier way to start the exercise is you bend your knees and you come down and you crawl forward into the plank position. And then you come back up again. But to make it more challenging, and how I do it as I'm a little stronger, is keep my legs straight. So you come down, your hands are in front of you flat, and then you just slowly walk out, crawl across, and you stop in the plank position, hold that plank, your core is engaged, and then you come back up again and you stop, get the stretch up your hamstring, and then you come back up again and you repeat the whole exercise. Absolutely fantastic for your hamstrings. The rest of the exercises are going to be on the floor. So the next two I'm going to be doing, it's a bridge, and then I'm going to graduate it. The bridge is very good, not just for your hamstring, but also for your glutes. A fantastic workout, equally for both. So to start the bridge, your legs are bent as close as possible to your bottom, and then you lie back. And then what happens is the only thing that's touching the ground is your shoulders. So you lift the rest of your body, and it's diagonally in a straight line. And your legs are as far back as possible, and they're not touching, but they're as close as possible together. And what you do is you bring your bottom down, and just as it's about to touch the ground, you stop, and then you bring it back up and you squeeze your glutes. You bring it down, stop, up, and you squeeze your glutes. To make it a little more challenging, you bring up one leg, all the weight is in the leg that's down, your left leg. You bring it down, you hold it, come back up and squeeze your glutes, bring the leg down, and you work out the other leg. Bring it down, come back up, squeeze your glutes, and bring down the leg. To graduate on from that is to add weights to your ankles. So do it in stages. The simple bridge with the one leg elevated, and then you add weights to that one leg elevated. That's going to really crank up your hamstrings and also your glutes. Fantastic workout. The other two exercises, start off on all fours, lift your leg, so it's a straight line from your shoulder all the way to your knee. So it's a straight line, and what you're doing is just kicking out the leg. To make it challenging, and I'll do this from the onset, is just to add weights to your ankles. Then you've got that much more to work through. The other option to this is to come up into a plank, and then you're just lifting one leg at a time. Lift it and bring it down. Lift it and hold it for a second, bring it down. Lift it, hold it for a second, and bring it down. So those are about 6 or so exercises for your hamstrings. And so now moving on to the glutes. I'm going to do 3 exercises on the floor for your glutes. Very simple exercises, but they are mighty, mighty powerful. That simple movement yields very good results. They'll lay a very good foundation for that all-elusive bubble butt that everybody aspires to. 3 exercises, and I'll just show you how to graduate. So the first one, you're on all fours, and you're just bringing the leg out. Let me give you the side profile. So, like that. And then to graduate that, you just do the donkey kick where you're coming in and you push up. You're coming in and you push up. You can add weights to make it a little more difficult as the exercise gets easier over time. And then the third option is your leg is pointed out and you're lifting to the same height as your waist. Again, you can add weights just to make it a little more challenging. So those 3 exercises are fantastic for your glutes. And then the one that everybody knows, and of course the most effective, you need to use weights with this. Start the first couple of times, if you're not familiar with squats, with just your body weight. And then what you need to do is add weights, and you need to end up lifting the heaviest you can physically lift to really reap the benefits of this exercise. So as I mentioned with quads, the closer together your legs are, the more of a glute workout you are getting. So what you need to do is keep your legs as close as possible. Obviously, the wider you go, the more you're working your inner thighs. Your legs are as close as possible. You added the weights, and then you also change the range of motion. So you go the full range, or you pulse, and you've got the weights either in your wrists, this time in your ankles, and then also you can either have the barbell, or you can have the dumbbells you're holding, or you can have the kettle ball. And the kettlebell is great because you get a very good glute and hamstring workout as you swing this kettlebell ball in between your legs. So nothing beats squats for your glutes. One thing I'd like to just gently remind you is to drink water all the time. When you're working out, so before, during, and after the workout, please don't overdrink it. Sometimes people go overboard with the water. One way to know how much water to drink is to take your weight in pounds. So if it's 100 pounds, divide that by 2, that's 50, and drink that in ounces. If your weight is 200 pounds, 100 is the half measurement, and drink that in ounces. So 100 pounds, 50 ounces of water, that's 1.5 liters of water. Good amount. If you're working out and you need a bit more, obviously add a bit more water, but you don't need to go nuts on water as it becomes counterproductive. I've given you a good range of exercises. Choose 2 from each group and interspersed with cardio, and you're well on your way to really working through that cellulite and bringing it down, if not totally eliminating. Do let me know in the comments down below which exercise you liked, what more you'd like within the whole cellulite realm. But otherwise, thank you for watching as always. Stay safe and keep working out. Take care.